Hello. Hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to share something from a book that I've been reading. I'll put the little plug in there. Hearing God by Peter Lord. Might would like to pick up and read. I've really just been, really encouraged by some of the things. He's very easy to understand. He just makes things for me make sense. But anyway, it's very good. But I wanted to just talk about one little thing here that just struck me. He was talking about a pure heart. He says that to most people, a pure heart would mean something like absence of contamination, the elimination of evil, but that's really only part of the meaning. The other part is a single-mindedness, the desire and commitment to one thing or one purpose. Pure gold is not only free from dirt, it is free from everything else, even the best of other metals. If a ring that contains gold has diamonds or silver in it, is not pure gold. Okay, pure gold has nothing else but gold in it. So he says, similarly, the heart, a pure heart, wills and seeks and wants only one thing. Every decision, every choice, every evaluation is based on that one desire. We might say that the heart is the real person. It is pure when all pretense, all masks, regulated behavior, old concepts, and guards are stripped away. And there is no question as to the importance of a pure heart to God. And he gives three things that kind of like to kind of bring the point. One, he said God's promise to a group of his people in captivity was, in Jeremiah 29:13, "You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all of your heart." Number two, God's desire for his people is expressed in the fact that the Lord searches the whole earth for people who have given themselves completely to him. And the third point is God's admonition to us through James is to give ourselves to him. James 4:7-8 says, "Submit therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded." If a pure heart, I'm just going to read some of these things from him. If a pure heart is so important to God, how do we cooperate with God so that we can attain this purity of purpose? The process takes time and action on our part, but is guided by the Holy Spirit in the life of the sincere, cooperative believer, and it includes definite procedures. And he goes on to talk about the difference between cleansing, forgiveness, and circumcision. And I'm not going to talk about the cleansing and the forgiveness right now. I've kind of talked about some of that in a different way on some of the last videos. But the circumcision of the heart is what I want to touch on. He says, what is a circumcised heart and how do you get one and what is the result? It says, first remember that all physical rules of the Old Testament were just shadows of spiritual realities, and it's sometimes hard to understand. But Paul clearly spells it out in a letter to Romans. He says, "For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, nor is circumcision that which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is that which is of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the letter, and his praise is not from men, but from God." It's Romans 2:28 and 29. Now, if you've ever seen a person who his whole life is wrapped up in anything, doesn't matter what it is, that everything they do is about one thing, and they continue to do it for a long time, then you begin to get a picture of a whole heart. A circumcised heart has everything superfluous cut away, and that means removing the good that hinders the best. And that's really what triggered this for me. I just thought that was such a wonderful explanation of this. And I remember when I was a child, my dad used to give out tracts all the time, and there was this one, and it had a heart, and it had a picture of a little chair sitting on the top of the heart, which was representative of a throne. And the question was, is Christ sitting on the throne of your heart? And I think this is what this is talking about. Like I said, he talked about the cleansing. It deals with the roots of things that we have in our heart. But circumcision takes care of the good but unnecessary things that crowd out God. When we understand this, we realize we need some very delicate and deep surgery in our hearts. That surgery will place God in a position of priority that no other person, no other thing, or pursuit can ever know. So, and then he gives a couple of more things of how does this take place. In Jeremiah 4:4, it says, "Circumcise yourselves to the Lord and remove the foreskin of your heart, men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem." And then in Deuteronomy 30:6, it says God's part, this is God's part of it. The other was our part. So it's a cooperation. "Moreover, the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your descendants, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, so that you may live." As in every other phase of Christian life, heart circumcision is a cooperation between God and us. And it is a relationship. So it's give, we do, and he does. He gives some practical suggestions. He says, tell God you want a pure heart and are willing to cooperate with him. Tell him you love the praise of man too much and ask him to deliver you from this. And ask him to tell you the first step that he wants for you to take with him. And then listen. And then do what he says. In Matthew 5:8, it says, "God, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." He goes on to say, if your heart is pure, your perception of God will be clear and definite, and communication with him will be much easier. And so the circumcision of heart for me was something that was very, very a neat explanation, because it's not that there's bad things in our lives, but if there's anything that is taking preeminence, those things need to be cut away from our hearts so that he can truly have the rulership of our hearts. So I hope that was encouraging to you. Again, it's called Hearing God by Peter Lord. I have a special place in my heart for this man because he was responsible for leading my father to the Lord and discipled him. So that's all that I wanted to share today. I pray that the Lord bless you with life and peace. Until the next time, goodbye.